everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. I've moved things around in my house, so is this on manual focus? Okay, I need to fix that, maybe to automatic focus. But I've moved things around in my house, so hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully this all works. But today we're setting up this Squier Debut Strat. Let's see, let's get some widescreen there, and just give me a minute to get set up here. Sorry it's taken so long. Live, there we go. Show me live. Show me live. All right. Am I live? I think I'm live. So, sorry. What's up, everybody? If anybody's there. Anybody here? Oh, it's private? Or no? No, it's not private. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is working, right? Okay, I can hear. I guess I'll just start getting set up. So I haven't really played this thing really at all, because when I got it, the strings were so high, and if you were a beginner getting this guitar, I don't think you could really do much with it, unfortunately, unless you read the instructions that came with it. I think I need to look at those some more, but I think like they told you, oh, turn this to make the saddles lower. They probably told you how to adjust the truss rod, but this thing was practically unplayable when I got it. And even now, I lowered the saddles quite a bit, but it still doesn't feel great to play. And yeah, I didn't want to do too much adjustment before I put new strings on here. But right now, the neck is still not straight, and strings are still very high. But the other thing that, so I'll say something really good about this guitar. The neck feels incredible. It's a nice thick C-shaped neck, and and I really think this thing is going to feel awesome once I set it up. But right now, yeah, it doesn't feel good. But let's see. Something else good about this this guitar. Well, no, I don't know. That's it. There's nothing good except for the neck. It feels good to play, and I'll just go over some bad things that we're gonna fix today. The fret edges are pretty sharp, pretty pointy here, and we gotta fix those up. And we'll put on new strings, we'll straighten the neck, we'll take these saddles and adjust them, probably lower than they are, and yeah, oil the fingerboard. I think this thing will be playing amazing after that. So this was, I think, about $100. I bought a used version of it. What's up, frogs? Hopefully that explained what I'm doing. I'm glad you're here. This guitar, I'm going to set it up first before I start playing it, and I think everybody will be much happier hearing me play this guitar setup. If you were gonna buy this thing for your first guitar, I might say don't do that, because oh shoot, I left my tools over there. Give me just a second. Or let me try this. I haven't used this in a while. I'm gonna use my drill to undo these things. What's up, JC? Happy holidays, man. If you're gonna buy this as your first guitar, I think you're gonna be upset, because it's gonna be so hard to play. Unless somehow you get lucky, like extremely lucky, and the guitar is magically set up, which I don't see how that will happen unless somebody like me gets this guitar, sets it up, and then returns it, and then you buy that returned version. That would be, you'd be extremely lucky. But if that is not the case, which would be for most people, I would guess, then this guitar is going to be very hard to play. All right. Where's this thing? Okay, I made a tool, but I'm not sure where it is, so I'm just going to grab my other tool. I am not a guitar maker, I am a guitarist, yes, but I do enjoy setting up guitars and making them sound as good as they possibly can. Alright, I found this thing. So, I've never used this before on the channel. This is something I made. You can buy this. It goes in your drill, and what I did, I guess I had a few of these string winders laying around, so I cut one off, and I don't even know what kind of glue this is that I used, but I glued it together, and this works. I don't really use it very often. I don't find myself needing to use it, but I guess it saves some time. Oh, nice, flutist. Yeah, flute is cool. I used to play with a flutist sometimes. I might have a video on my YouTube playing some Piazzolla guitar and flute. Bamboo flute, okay, that's pretty cool. Let's put these tuners to the test and see what they can endure. So this does not have the luthier's knot, which some of you may know how I feel about that. Oh, thank you, Barbara Means. Thank you for saying I'm creative. That's very nice of you. I'm not sure if I am. I guess you have to be a little bit in this profession, or really in any profession. Anybody out there have a Squier? Does anybody have a Squier Debut? Or played one of these Squier Debuts? Squier bass. Yeah, I think if you have if it's set up well, Squiers can be great guitars. Or they probably are usually great guitars if they're set up well. So I actually also got a Squier bass. This is the Squier, I guess it's the debut bass as well. And when I unboxed it, you know, it had a chunk of wood taken out of it. So I already started the return for this thing. I was hoping that they would just give me like a discount for the damaged item, but I guess I bought through Amazon, and I guess they didn't have the authority to give a discount, because I think this like sells straight through Fender on Amazon. But because I don't mind this chunk, but if I'm paying full price, then I'd prefer to have it, you know, the way it was supposed to come. But it seems like a pretty good bass. I haven't really played either of these yet, but I plan on making them play amazing, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them after that. The bass is probably going back. Will I get another one? I don't know. We'll see. But at least I'll have set it up. I usually keep my old strings so I don't cut them like this, but these strings were not very good, so I don't mind doing this. That way they'll be a little bit easier to take out. Let's see. Oh, really? You worked at Amazon customer service. That's pretty cool. How was that job? I'm very curious. Did they give you a lot of training? Did you have a lot of like authority to help people, or basically they had computer systems that told you what you could and couldn't do? That's what I would guess. Alright, let's see here. Strings off. It's amazing how much dust this thing can accumulate just sitting in my apartment. This thing has a really nice, like, natural finish to it. It almost looks fake. I wonder what would happen if I kind of try to polish it. I don't know if I'm gonna do that now, but this is the first thing we need to try to do, is see if we can clean up this fret end a little bit. I have this tool that I use every now and then, and yeah, I think it's like a matte, maybe satin matte finish. Gets a lot of fingerprints show. I think it's a very thin, there's basically no finish on it. I don't know, something very thin. I could tell because I have that chunk that I found in the box from the bass. Let me grab that. Let's see. You zoom in here. Oh yeah, nice. So this is, it's kind of cool. You can see that. I don't know, that doesn't really show you a whole lot, but if you zoom in really, or if you can see here, I don't know if you can really see that well, but that is like point 0.1 inch. I don't know, it's very small. It's a very, very thin finish on this thing. Probably just some paint and a slight bit of finish. Can you say out loud? I'm not gonna say that. I don't know what that means, but hello in Russia over there. You solve their delivery related problems and help them to return or replace their products if it's damaged. Oh, nice. Well, that's good. I've never had an issue with Amazon customer service. You know, that's kind of what they pride themselves on. At least that's what they say. So, yeah, I really enjoy using Amazon. But this is the first guitar I've ever bought from Amazon, so that was exciting. That was an exciting experience for me. Alright, let me get out this thing. I've got a couple of tools here. I bought these tools a long time ago for fret work on a Stumac, and I haven't really used them very much. Oh. Well, if you want to learn guitar, there's a lot of great resources on YouTube. I'm sure you know about that. That can at least be a good start, but if you can find somebody who knows how to play, that would really help. And if you already know how to play flute, a lot of this stuff will transfer over. Alright, let me see if I can zoom in here for you. So basically these edges here are just pretty sharp. And whenever any guitar player out there probably has felt this when you're playing and this edge just catches a little bit. So you just have to sand this edge and it'll be smooth, just like anything that you sand. So I have this tool. I think this was designed to kind of clean up those fret edges. But let's see. This is probably something that you want to use like masking tape to make sure that everything is protected that should be protected. And especially since I'm doing this on camera, that's probably what I should do. But I'm also kind of lazy, so I'm thinking I want to move faster, so I'll just do that not on camera. But I can really see these frets sticking out here. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to do this part later because this is gonna be too tedious, and I don't do it often enough to where I'm comfortable doing this on camera. But let's see, this is another tool. I think this is the one that I really use the most for cleaning up those fret ends. This little tiny file here, and basically I would just go over and kind of round out the ends like this. Let's see, I'll do another zoom in here. There we go. So just come in under here. Okay, this one, here we go. And just round over those fret ends like this. And since I'm trying to show you on camera, I can't really see what I'm doing, and that's not a great recipe for success. So that feels better already, but I need to do a little bit more. Need to do some coming this way. Yeah, it's amazing. This feels a lot better already. Sorry about the focus here. Let's see. Yeah, I do have some tape, and I'm gonna do that off camera. So yeah, this one feels a lot better if I compare it to the next one here. Like, this feels really sharp, and this one already feels much smoother. So what I'll probably do for like almost every one of these frets is just come through here and sand off these edges, and then come back and probably polish the frets as well. You know what, just that little tiny bit makes such a huge difference. Let's see, almost all of them are sharp. I felt one that didn't feel too sharp. Yeah, if you're a beginner and you get this guitar, it's not going to feel good. I know most people probably have that experience where they got their first guitar and maybe they didn't realize it, but it probably was set up. A lot of people, it was probably set up pretty bad. Strings were high, and you know, if you're new to guitar and you don't have somebody really knowledgeable helping you out, you probably don't even realize that it could be better than it is. So yeah, I just imagine somebody getting this guitar like their parents getting it for Christmas or for a birthday, and they just go to try to play guitar and the strings are so high, the frets are sharp, and they're thinking, oh, I don't really want to play guitar, this is way too hard. And that probably happens often to people buying this, and it's really kind of sad because this guitar, this is a really nice guitar. It's just not set up at all. So I guess I can just keep doing this. Just that little bit of filing at the edges makes such a huge difference. So far, I think all but one fret that I've touched is really sharp on the edge. I mean, this is really easy to do. Anybody who's done any kind of like woodworking or, you know, is slightly handy could buy this tool. You know, buy a cheap file and do this. But this is just one step, I guess, to setting up a guitar. Yeah. These frets are not as bad down here. That one's pretty bad. But they could all use it. But who knows, this guitar could be, I didn't look up the date by the serial number, but it could have been sitting in a really dry warehouse for several months, and right now it's a really dry time of year, so this wood could have actually shrunk. And when that happens, these fret ends tend to stick out quite a bit. You really notice it. So maybe if I got this guitar during the summer, or if I was in a more humid climate, this wouldn't be an issue at all. I can't really make a judgment on all their guitars off of just this one experience. But I would imagine that you have to save money somewhere, and this could be where it is on the setup. I still don't know how they could even make a guitar this cheap. There's so much labor that goes into building something like this. All right. So that's that, and it feels slightly better, but I'm going to give you the condensed version of setting this thing up. So the next thing to do is to put some of this Dr. Duck's Axe Wax on here to oil the fingerboard. Yeah, so I think the best thing to do is if you have like a hygrometer, I think that's what it's called, that checks the humidity in the room. If your room is like 40 to 60% relative humidity, I think you're in good shape. Your guitar will be in good hydration, but I don't know. I use this Dr. Duck's Axe Wax to oil the fingerboard. I'm not so sure that this really hydrates the wood. From what I read about oils is that what happens is the oil goes on and then the water evaporates, and that leaves kind of a solid coating over the fingerboard. So I'm not really sure, like, I know people tend to think, and it kind of intuitively makes sense, that this oil is getting into like the pores of the wood and hydrating it. I'm not an expert. I'm nowhere close to an expert on this subject about materials and wood. Hopefully I can talk to somebody who knows about that stuff. But from the research that I did, it didn't seem like that was the case. That the wood was actually could be hydrated from this oil. Anyway, yeah, I'm not gonna really say I know much about this, and I don't even remember everything that I've learned, that I not learned, but that I researched. So I'll have to do some more on that. There's just so many topics I think that need to be really explored, and the main reason that I think that this stuff is good is because it feels good on the fingers. It makes it a lot easier to move around, and it does add some level of protection too. Gives a nice color as well. But I'm a fan of this Dr. Duck's Axe Wax. It doesn't have too much of like a scent to it. But you can see this old sock that I'm using as a rag keeps getting caught on these inner fret ends. They're still pretty sharp on the inside. But I don't play with like my thumb over here. I play with my thumb back here, so it's not really a big deal to me if these frets are sharp. Yeah, I love the way that this oil makes a natural wood kind of pop. and it definitely looks way nicer now. I'm not really sure if it's actually hydrated though, but it does look great. If I were to just look at it, I'd say, oh, it's so hydrated, and that's what I had always thought in the past. But I'm not sure. More research needs to be done on that. I think you could probably take this oil and just rub it on the body. I'm going to do that. It'll definitely add some shine to it. I'll just do it on part of it so we can kind of see what it looks like. But yeah, on this package it says it's or on their website you can look on there and it tells you all the things that you can use this for, but it says do the entire instrument, body, headstock, fretboard, pickguard, tuning keys, all of it. Some kind of magic, I guess. They have this really old HTML website that's pretty interesting. If you go check out Dr. Duck's Axe Wax. I don't even know if you can, I don't think you can buy off their website. Maybe you could in like 2007 or 2008, but maybe you still can, but it doesn't look safe for sure. But it has a lot of interesting stuff on their website. Alright, so what I usually use for the body is this Virtuoso Premium Cleaner. I really like this stuff. It cleans really well. But you don't really want to use that on natural wood. I'll use it on the frets, like just because it's a cleaner, and especially if you have dirty frets, it'll work really well cleaning up your fingerboard. But I've noticed that if you have like a pretty unfinished guitar or unfinished wood, it'll really get into the grain of the wood and it's hard to get out. So, but yeah, all this cleaner and oil is great. Alright, now let's put some strings on this thing. I'm putting 10s on here. 10s have been my go-to for a long time. I'm ready to switch to 9s though. So after this, it's time to get some 9s. I've been using Diodario exclusively, pretty much exclusively for a while now, on classical and electric. But I also use Savarez for classical, but there was a time when I was experimenting with a lot more strings. It's been a while since I've had a Strat guitar, so I'm excited to get this thing in shape. I guess I can use my drill for this too. Let's see how it goes. No, I'm not going to use that. Alright, this is a really awkward position I'm in right now. I need to change. Alright, there we go. That's a little better. IVXL, oh, NYXL. Okay, yeah. I feel like I've tried those once. Are those the chrome strings, or are they have some chrome and some different ones? All right, one string down. This guitar is really light. I like that too. So I do this, I measure out a little bit of slack, and then I like to pre-cut here before I tune the guitar, before I put the string on the tuner. I don't know, maybe it makes it a little bit more difficult for like at first doing it this way, but the reason why I like to do this is you got to make sure you really hold on to the string at the beginning so it doesn't pop out of there. But this way, whenever you're winding the string, I'll show you in just a second. Whenever you're winding the string, you don't have this excess string flying around and kind of like, you know, being a hazard, almost hitting you in the face. So like typically right now there'd be a string and just like flying around, but you don't have that. That might be the greatest benefit to me of pre-cutting. But you do have to make sure that you really secure the string well when you're putting it through. You have to hold it so it doesn't fall out. You know, the other thing that I've really noticed with electric guitars is you really want to have, I'll show you this. I think you really want to have like a nice amount of wraps, because the wraps, I don't think that they necessarily help with tuning stability, but I do think that they help with tension while tuning, while turning the tuners. And the more tension you have here, the finer I feel you can go. The more control you have, the easier it is to just tune just a tiny bit. Because a lot of times, like these little tiny movements like this is what really allows you to get your guitar in tune. I gotta try out those chromes again. I need to do a deep dive in all the different strings, see if there's something that I'm missing. I used to use flat wound strings and I really like those. But these days I've just been using the standard Diodario. What are these even called? EXL or Diodario XLs. Nice standard strings. Default. Those are my default. Ah, yeah. That string sliding noise. that can be a real annoyance, especially if you listen back to a recording. I think sometimes we kind of don't even realize how much noise there is with us sliding our fingers on the frets while we're playing. But when you go back and listen to a recording, all of a sudden you can be kind of shocked. I know it's really painful for classical guitar. So I like to get this thing started by hand, and then I'll bring in the machine. The drill is not bad. If I wasn't trying to do this on camera and I had the guitar in a different position, maybe I would be fine using the drill bit. But really, I mean, it's not that much work to use just your hand in this machine. What's up, Michaela? You're here. You're seeing this thing come to life. So we're just restringing it right now and putting some 10s on here. For anybody new to the stream, we took off some of the fret ends because they were very sharp and still slightly sharp in some spots, but I'll take care of that a little bit more later. But wow, I'll talk about the good part of this guitar. The neck is incredible. It feels like a vintage neck. I feel like I've played some like custom shop Strats, you know, like 3,000 to 4,000. I feel like this neck reminds me a lot of one or two of those that I played. But this thing was pretty much impossible to play whenever I unboxed it. Yeah. The saddle pieces were all the way up, so like all the way to the top. Big bow in the neck, and yeah, I haven't played it since I unboxed it. And I even tried taking the saddles down, but it really didn't make a big difference. We'll see. I didn't go too far because the strings on here felt really bad, and I knew I was going to change the string, so I was waiting to do that before I really set it up. But it will be a sweet guitar momentarily. Thank you, JC. I appreciate that. I think the 10s are going to feel awesome, and that's cool that your Affinity Strat is feeling that way. Squier is awesome. You know, after playing that Harley Benton that I had, I mean, I hate judging like a whole company off of one guitar, or even like a whole model, a whole line of guitars off of one, but just something didn't feel great to me about the Harley Benton. I mean, there was a lot of nice things, and I know a lot of people really like those guitars, but I think this Squier is really, it feels better to me. I'm just gonna say it. Even though that guitar was like a $500 or $600 guitar, I think I would rather have this $100 debut. But that's me. I don't know. If you like the way the guitar looks, like that other guitar looks, then maybe you'd prefer to have that. I don't think the Harley Benton was bad, but there was something that just, to me, didn't feel right. I don't know. It sounded good. It played pretty good, but just I couldn't really, I can't articulate what it was. I couldn't pinpoint what it was. But I did have this kind of feeling like the whole thing was going to fall apart, even though I don't think it was. But it did feel like if I touched it in the right spot, it would explode. Yeah, I've heard that too, that the quality can be hit or miss. I had heard that like they have different factories where they make their guitars, so that could be part of the inconsistency. And as far as I could tell, that guitar was good. I mean, I set it up, it played well, everything was good, but I don't know, just something didn't feel, maybe it's just what I'm used to. I think I've played a lot more, I don't know how to put that. I think something about it just felt light. It didn't feel very, it wasn't about a weight thing. It was a kind of a lighter guitar. I think it was chambered, but it just felt too not solid. Like, even though this is a light guitar, it feels very solid to me. Not set up. This would be a terrible guitar out of the box for a beginner, unless you brought it to get set up from somebody who knew what they were doing. But this guitar is going to be awesome after I set it up. I can tell. I could tell out of the box. But this was also the worst guitar I've ever played when I got it out of the box because of the setup. So I think that's an important and interesting thing to realize. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I know there is something to like craftsmanship and tolerances, and if something is fitting really well, I think I might be out of focus here. If something's like fitting really well, like just perfect, it's going to translate into the feel of the instrument. So if you don't have the tolerances in like in a certain way, in a certain specification, I don't know the exact number. I guess it depends on on the design, but every little detail is going to translate, I think, from my experience. There's luthiers out there who really care, and when you have these mass-produced guitars, you probably have like some kind of system that's in use, and it really depends on how well that system's working. Because maybe you have a new person that's doing necks today, and maybe they kind of, they're learning, so they don't do a good job, but because of the cost, you still have to manufacture that guitar that doesn't really meet the specification or isn't as good as if the other guy or girl who was, right next to them or working the next day. I mean, I have no idea how these things go. I'm just thinking about it, like how I would imagine it's set up. The experience level when you have a guitar this cheap, it's probably not about the skilled labor as much as it is about whatever kind of system is in place to make these guitars happen. And I'm sure there is a variety of people working on these guitars, some new to guitar making, some experienced, and all of that will make a difference. I mean, that sounds logical, right? Maybe not. Maybe I'm missing something. But Fender has been doing this for a long time, so I imagine they probably have a really good system down for making quality guitars for a incredibly low price. Yeah, I would love to get a semi-hollow body. I've been like trying to do guitars that I thought maybe are more popular, and I'm a big fan of hollow body and semi-hollow body, but I don't know, is the general population into semi-hollow body guitars or hollow body? Probably semi more than full hollow body, I would guess. But they have such a great sound. I like playing acoustic and classical instruments a lot, so of course the semi-hollow body or hollow body right in the middle, perfect. Not really the middle, but it has, like, what I like about acoustic instruments is that you can really dig in and you just feel like the response from the instrument, and that can really translate. I don't know, it's hard to explain how that works, but there is definitely a difference between playing an acoustic instrument and an electric instrument, just playing wise. What kind of semi-hollow body do you have? I'm curious. Yeah, I don't think I've ever played a Squier that I didn't like either. I'd also like to take this moment to just apologize to everybody for not posting or going live as much. It's been a really busy time for me, and it's not a good excuse, but I gotta get things rolling here on YouTube because I really enjoy this, and I hate that other things are taking me away from it. But I want to do a really good job too, and maybe that's part of it, that I'm overthinking things a little bit. But I'm really happy to see all of you that are sticking around and showing up and commenting. I really appreciate that. I'm glad y'all are getting something out of this. So, alright, last string. Last string. I don't know what, I'm assuming they put Fender strings on whenever they ship the guitar, but they're very old, slightly rusty. I did buy this as like an open box version. I don't know how much that really factors in because it looked like it really hadn't been touched, so, and everything looked like it was stock. But who knows how long it sat in some kind of warehouse. Alright, last string going on. Yeah, anybody who's been around knows that I've popped the high E string before. Gotta be careful. Alright, I feel like now I'm like hypersensitive about breaking the E string. I don't think I'm gonna do it this time though. Alright, let's see. I think we're safe. All strings on, not in tune, and if I look down, yeah, this thing, let's see, can I give you the down the neck view? No, I can't really give that to you. But this thing is like, the neck looks like this. Oh wow. Yeah, 11s, that's scary. That's a lot of tension there. I remember putting on flat wounds on my old Strat, and this thing, like, oh yeah, when you put on like really heavy gauge, this bridge starts to lift up, and you have to really like screw in these screws up here, maybe add some extra springs to really keep that down. But that would be fun to try out. Put some heavy gauge strings on the Strat again. I really like the sound of flat wound strings. I want to get some of those too. Whenever I'm doing anything like that, like putting a heavy gauge string, I like to move slow, like really slow. And even then, like kind of keep my head back. Maybe put on some safety glasses too, just in case. But it can be scary. When I'm on here on the live stream, I forget to do some of those safety things. So be safe out there if you're going to try these things. I just hold the guitar for fun. That's mainly what I like to do. Yeah, it feels great. It already looks better having these new strings on here. But yeah, this thing is not playable yet, so the next step will be, I think, to get this truss rod adjusted, and then after that we can take a look at the bridge, get the saddles where they need to be. Let me get my screwdriver to take off. Oh no, there's no cap on here. What am I thinking? It's been a while since I played a Strat. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is just loosen this truss rod. Make sure it's, you know, that was another thing about the Harley Benton. When I did the truss rod adjustment, I mean, everything was fine, but I didn't like the way it felt. It wasn't very smooth. It felt like the glue had really like stuck, gotten the truss rod stuck. So when I was turning it, you know, you feel that like kind of, you know, imagine the glue that holds the fingerboard and the neck together. It kind of seeps out and gets onto the truss rod if you don't cover it well, and you hear that cracking noise of the glue, and that doesn't feel good. I don't like that part. Yeah, I think at first when I saw the mat, I had no idea that this was going to be matte, and I was shocked. It almost doesn't look real when you look at it in person. And I just added some of the oil that I used for the fingerboard on here, on this half of it. I don't know if you can really tell the difference, but this half has a bit of oil and this one doesn't. I don't know. It's to me it looks like it's kind of gone away, but the glue adds tension to the truss rod. That's funny. Alright, so now that I think about it, I actually tightened the truss rod just now. So I'm going to loosen it a little bit. And everything feels really good. When I tightened it, it felt fine. But yeah, this thing definitely needs to be tightened. I haven't seen a truss rod this bold in a while. No, not a pick guard replacement. I am adjusting the neck right now. I put new strings on here, and I cleaned up the fret edges that were pretty bad. This is just the first step of setting up this Squier Debut that was basically unplayable when I got it. Still unplayable at this point, but hopefully we're going to change that soon. Alright, so I like to do this kind of in steps, nice and slow. But it's looking better already. It doesn't take very much to get things right. Let's try this too. I'm going to lower. I'm actually going to just lower the saddles like as far as possible. You know what was nice? I'm not using them right now, but the Squier did come with Allen wrenches to adjust the saddle pieces and the truss rod. Maybe all new guitars come with that. Maybe it's just been a really long time since I bought a new guitar. Have I ever bought a new guitar? I did, one time. I'm pretty sure. A long time ago. It was a PV, actually. PV semi-hollow body. I can't remember what it was called. F something. I think it had an F in it, but that was a good guitar. I really liked that one. Yeah, on my first Strat, it was a Mexican Strat, Fender Strat, and it was, I think, called Wine Red, and it came with like just a regular white, you know, pickguard like this. And I remember I bought this like Perloid red pickguard. I sold it. I have no idea if the guitar is even in existence anymore, but using a different pickguard, good idea. I like that. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of take these down pretty far. Let me zoom in and show you what I'm doing here. Fender Strat. Okay, sorry, I gotta watch the camera and this. I'm kind of doing this to stall for time because once I first adjust the truss rod, I like to give it a little bit of time to kind of make sure everything is okay. And if it is, then I can maybe be a little more aggressive after that. Alright, so that's good. That's good. The tuners, the tuning heads seem like they're pretty good. I don't know if you were here when I was talking about this, but I like to make sure I have like a decent amount of winds around the tuner. maybe like I have 3 on the low E, 4 on the next one, about 3 or 4 on this one, and then 5, like 6 or 7 on the higher strings. And I feel like the more wraps you have, I don't think it really helps with the tuning stability necessarily, but it adds tension. So whenever you turn, I think you can get a finer tune. That's been my experience. So it feels really good that way, yeah. But yeah, I think the tuners feel great. I like them. All right, so let's see. How's this neck looking? All right. Let's give it another turn. I want to try out that Squier Mustang. Is that a debut too? Like the cheap? I see them like for like $100 used. Like 2 humbuckers. There's just so many guitars out there. I want to try all of them. I don't know which one to try next. Over here in New York, there's just so many people selling guitars. There's too many good ones. Alright, we're straightening up here. This is good. Cool. Thank you. Okay, that must be the one that I'm thinking of, the Sonic Mustang. I feel like I've seen it in like some mint colors. The debut, you know, I got this on Amazon. I don't remember. I didn't look to see if they had the Mustang on there actually. I really wanted to try out this cheap one. Nazgul, good to see you. Very good to see you. All right, let's see. We're getting close. The neck is much less bowed now. Probably playable. I prefer to have the neck as straight as possible when I'm playing for my setups. We don't need too much more. This might be enough. Or maybe one more, like, very slight turn. Neon green. That sounds interesting. All right, so it's definitely I don't know. It's feeling better. It's more playable. We need to go further on the truss rod. Probably just a little bit further. There we go. All right, we're getting there. Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that. Uh, I think this guitar, when I got it, was pretty much unplayable, and changing the strings, the fretboard actually was not looking great before I added some Dr. Duck's Axe Wax, sponsor me, to it, and now it looks really good. Really good stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess you could change the tuners. To me, these feel okay for now. Um, I don't really have too much of a problem with cheap tuners, although nice tuners are better. I find that they feel much nicer and are easier to tune with. I mean, I don't know. That's what you would expect from better tuners, and yes, buy more expensive tuners, and they'll do a better job. So, but yeah, anyway, it feels pretty solid so far. The new strings already feel great. That's funny. Yeah, please don't buy anything unless you use my affiliate link, which I don't have. I actually did sign up for an affiliate program, but I don't know. I don't know where I could really use that. I guess I could put something in my live stream. We'll see, maybe one day. But I will say, if anybody out there wants to take a guitar lesson, go to my links in my profile and sign up for a private guitar lesson. First lesson, $15. Private guitar lessons changed my life. They can change yours too. I just came up with that, okay? Maybe I'll use that same pitch the next time. And you can say you were there when that guitar lesson pitch came up. But seriously, you don't have to take guitar lessons from me, but you should take guitar lessons if you can, because even I want to take guitar lessons, and I've been doing it for a long time. I've been teaching. I have 2 degrees in guitar, so I took a lot of guitar lessons, but you can never stop taking guitar lessons. It really helps just having somebody kind of having a look at what you're doing. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I appreciate that, Michaela. I mean, I've charged a lot more than what I'm charging now, but I don't know. I guess I want to be very reasonable, or more than reasonable. Even though over here, where I am in New York, it's typically like $70 to $100 for a lesson. I think the internet allows us to be a little more accommodating, and eventually, when I have no time at all, maybe we'll raise the prices, but for now, everybody gets a good deal. So, tell your friends. English or Spanish? What do you mean by that? I'm not speaking Spanish right now, I don't think. But I could get through a little Spanish if you speak Spanish. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. Guitar teachers should charge a reasonable price. I do believe that. I think because I'm in this unique position of doing YouTube as well, I need to give back. I need to kind of help build this community, and if that means charging a little bit less at first, I'm happy to do that. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a bad idea, but right now, I used to have a lot of students, and then I decided I'm not going to teach anymore. So I started like losing students because I was doing other stuff. other music and art stuff. But now I want to teach more again. So we got to get started. We got to start somewhere. I do still have one guitar student who's doing great. He's pretty advanced. But I'm ready to help out some more people. Yes. Oh, we should definitely do a jam session. Actually, that's something. I don't know if you mean a lesson, because we could do that, but it sounds like you've got a good teacher, so you've got that covered. But I do want to do a jam session with somebody, and I want to make a video or a short, or maybe on a live stream, and I'm gonna hopefully set that up soon. But that's in my kind of immediate plans to get that going. So if you're interested in doing some jamming online, some live remote jamming, we could do that. All right, let's see here. So I still have a little bit more bow than I like. It's, let's say this is straight. It's like just slightly bowed, but I don't want to do too much at once. So I think we can work with this for now. Let's get this set up and like this, and I'll probably make some more adjustments soon. Let me get an E note here. That's probably close enough. We'll tune to D first. So I definitely put the saddles too low for most of these strings. All right. I don't know. Can y'all hear that? So need to straighten the neck just slightly more. Won't do it now, but the frets could also need to be sanded down in some spots, or maybe the whole thing. We'll see. I would like to be able to get this guitar playing about here though. Like the string height it feels good. So it's sad that I can't actually make a good sound. Maybe raise it, because we're still a little low in pitch here. Oh. Wow. Yeah, Floyd Rose. You had to set up your buddy's 7-string Floyd Rose Schecter, and that was a nightmare. Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've set up a Floyd Rose guitar, but I understand. No, it didn't break. It didn't break. Uh, what happened was the ball end was kind of stuck over here, and it just popped out. The E string did it to me again. Wow. All right, I'm gonna stop doing this live. Or I'm gonna put the E string on off camera somehow, because this is an unfortunate coincidence. Yeah, that would have been really odd if it snapped. It doesn't usually happen to me on any guitar, but sometimes classical strings, like, they're definitely more prone to snapping, I think, than electric strings. What amplifier? So actually, I don't have like a traditional guitar amp right now. I usually just plug straight into my computer, into my interface, and use like some amp simulations on my computer. And yeah, you know, it's kind of weird, but I'm not too obsessed with amps. I don't know like what kind of amp question you're asking, like, but I've had amps in the past. I had like a Vox AC15 for a while. That was a cool amp. I didn't like love it or anything, but it was fine. I'm a big fan of just solid state amps as well, but most of the music that I play, I'm not going for like a certain kind of sound to where I feel like I need this specific combination or this type of amp. I really like to have, like, if I'm playing electric guitar, I like to have a clean sound that's kind of like right on the edge of breaking up, getting distorted. And if I dig in or play a little bit harder, it'll sound distorted. And if I just play light, it'll sound pretty clean. That's so whatever amp that can do that, which there are a lot, I'm okay with. I like that. But I do like pedals. They're cool. I want to get into them. I just they're expensive, right? I like the software, free software pedals. Yeah. Solid state or tube? That's a good question. For me, I guess I would prefer a tube amp. I kind of like that it's like, um, I don't know, maybe it's just like a more of a nostalgic feeling about a tube amp, but I think I would prefer a tube amp, but I think solid state amps are fine too. I don't think it really matters so much. I haven't actually played an electric gig in, I don't even remember how long, probably 5 or 6 years at least. So I gotta start doing that again. The pandemic, it really screwed things up for me. I had just moved up to the Northeast, and I didn't really know anybody, so I've kind of been remote for like 5 years now. I've definitely met some people over here in New York, but mostly other types of artists, and not that many musicians, surprisingly. It's been an interesting experience, but I'm happy that that's finally changing. All right, so I think this process is kind of getting a little boring, so I feel like this is enough. I'll finish setting this thing up, and next time I come on here, I'll play it for y'all. But this has been a lot of fun, and this is the Squier Debut. I also have this Squier Debut bass, my first bass in a really long time. I'm excited about doing some stuff with that too, playing some music with it. I'll be back soon. Next door, the baby's crying. I can hear it. I don't know if y'all can hear this. This is my life all day. A baby moved in next door to me, and it cries. I mean, it's pretty good, but muffled cries throughout the day. So it's time for me to stop, and next time you'll get to hear some guitar, and hopefully I have some new shorts coming out soon as well, so I'm looking forward to all of that. Alright, y'all, it's been fun. Have a good night, and I will see you all next time. Give me just a second though to walk over to my computer and shut this off. But yeah, look at the blank screen, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good night, everybody. Really appreciate you being here.